All right, so today we are going to do an unboxing video. I'm very, very excited about this. I am a very huge fan of Pokemon, or Pocket Monsters as it's known in Japan. As you can see right now, I am playing Pokemon Leaf Green for the Game Boy Advance on my awesome Retron 5 system. Two of the very greatest possessions that I have as far as video games go, and especially when it comes to Pokemon, I am very lucky enough to have two authentic copies of Pocket Monsters Red version, or Pocket Monster Aka, as it's called in Japan, and I also have Pocket Monster Midori, or Pocket Monsters Green version from Japan. Unfortunately, I don't have the case and the manual for it like I do for the red version. Excuse me here, it's hard to do this with one hand, but they are both fully authentic copies. It took me a while to make sure that I had tracked down legitimate copies because, unfortunately, for a lot of collectors and casual gamers alike, there are many, many bootleg copies of various Pokemon games, pretty much all the Pokemon games, on eBay and other online stores. So it takes a little while to find and to make sure you do the research so you know the difference between a legitimate copy of the cartridges and bootlegs. I also have Pokemon Fire Red down there for the Game Boy Advance. Little brief quick history for anyone who might not know. Pocket Monsters Green and Red were the very first two Pokemon games released in Japan in 1996. They weren't too extremely popular when they first came out because the core gameplay and everything and the overall world graphics from the games are exactly the same as they were in the later American releases of Pokemon Red and Blue. But the sprites or the graphics for the Pokemon character designs were slightly different than the ones that American audiences are used to. Even though I think they perfectly look okay. The original Japanese sprites for the Pokemon from Red and Green, a lot of people consider them to be ugly and didn't exactly look like they were pictures of their counterparts from the manual, so for various reasons the games weren't that popular when they first came out. But then a couple of months later, the updated version for the games came out, and that was Pocket Monsters Blue version, and eventually the versions that were released in America we got were Pokemon Blue and Red, which had the updated graphics, and Pokemon Green remained very obscure and was never released outside of Japan until the games were remade as Pokemon Fire Red and Pokemon Leaf Green. But today we have another addition to this collection. Pocket Monsters game number 4, and I'm sure many, many people here know exactly which game that I'm thinking of, but let's open it up and see what we got. Alright, so we got the top part of the package open. I wanted to make sure that I opened it before continuing the video, so let's take it out, take its contents out. Ooh, what is this right here? Could it possibly be a Japanese copy of Pocket Monsters Pikachu edition? I believe it is. Oh. And there you have it. Pocket Monster Pikachu edition. This is the very first time I'm laying eyes on this in real life, outside of pictures online. So here it says the Pocket Monster trainer around Pikachu's body. We have the little speech bubble atop where it says Pika in Japanese. Nintendo Game Boy. I don't know Japanese extremely well. I know a couple of words and phrases and the characters for some of these things. I'm learning. The very smallest two characters there let you know that the game has save cartridge capabilities, because back in 1996, 1998, when these games came out, the save features were still pretty new, because Nintendo games and everything, the original like Famicom and NES games didn't have save states on most of them. So down here it says you can link it with the Nintendo 64 for the surfing feature that they had when Pokemon Stadium came out. And the little symbol right down there says that it is compatible with the Game Boy printer system that they had. Right here it says and everything that of course you can link the Game Boys with the system link cable to trade the Pokemon. All the side information there. Okay, and it has a sticker on the back. I can carefully remove that. I'm really liking how such good condition this box is in. It's absolutely amazing. When I got my copy of Pocket Monsters Red version about 2.5, 3 weeks ago, the top of the box right there was ripped, so I had to put some tape on it to make it a little bit more visually presentable. But overall, they still came in really good condition. Not bad for the boxes, still being 20 years old. Once again, it just gives you a good description of the back of the game and tells you that Pikachu follows you around outside the Pokeball. It's Super Game Boy compatible, so you, just like the other Pocket Monsters games, you can put it with insert the cartridge into the Super Game Boy accessory they made for the Super Nintendo and play the game on a big TV like I'm currently doing with the Retron 5, since it emulates that. Once again, it tells you that it has it's Game Boy printer compatible, and then just all the other information, and Pokémon Monster Pikachu version. It's not called Pokemon Yellow in Japan like it was over here. When it was released over here, it was called Pokemon Yellow Special Pikachu Edition. But over in Japan, it's just Pokémon Monster Pikachu. I'm going to stop the video. I'll edit this in just a little bit, and I will show you the contents of the box. Okay, we are back, and we now have the box open. And here, first, we shall look at the actual cartridge itself. In its nice, good Game Boy carry case. I don't remember. It's been a very long time since I opened up a brand new American Game Boy or Game Boy Advanced box and taken all the contents out. I don't remember if the American Game Boy games were ever released with these really nice plastic see-through carry cases to protect it from the dust and everything. But I really love how the Japanese ones seem to come like that. It's very convenient and awesome. So here is the cartridge for Pocket Monsters Pikachu Edition. As you can see, it says Nintendo Game Boy at the top with the trademark symbol, so you know that's authentic. The Nintendo system, the Nintendo company logo is looking proper. People try to copy that on the bootleg copies all the time, but they usually come out looking, even to the untrained eye, you can pretty much tell what the difference between an official versus a fake Nintendo logo looks like. It has the serial number codes and the pictures for the linked Game Boys and the Game Boy printer. All the copyright information. This particular game was released in 1998 in Japan. 1996 is for the years that the games were actually released originally, with Pocket Monsters Red, Blue, and Green, and 1995 is the production date, so that's all the different dates there. I believe if I turn it the right way, you can see that proper stamp, number stamp over by the S on Pocket Monsters. That's another thing you need to look for to know you have a legitimate copy. And of course, made in Japan. And then, of course, any authentic cartridge would say made in Japan and patent pending on the back. So here, the actual official legitimate cartridge for Pocket Monsters Pikachu. And we shall just have it chilling out by his brothers over there. And of course here is the manual with all the same information on it for the most part. So great. These came in such great condition. I'm so excited about this. Shows Pikachu being all happy and jumping on the back, and all the other pictures of the other Pokemon outlines on the back. Seems like there's, Pidgeotto, Onix, Geodude, Mewtwo, and all sorts of others. I'm assuming that the manual is going to pretty much look exactly like the red manual, except maybe for the, the official descriptions, it gives you the just like the red manual for the most part, but with the additions of the special Pikachu parts, but shows you the pictures of red. And I believe in the original Japanese dialogue in the games, Gary, as we know him in America, his original name in the games was green in the Japanese translation, since you have, red and green. But then, in the American ones, it was usually the default names were usually red and blue. And then, of course, in the Pokemon edition, since they made that to be more closer to the anime, obviously you could name the characters Ash and Gary. So far it seems like it just gives you all the same info, and then it will just get into the more Pikachu related things. So I definitely have every intention of studying and learning how to read and speak Japanese. That way I can fully play these without having to look up any online translations or anything. Even though, if you've played Pokemon enough times, I'm pretty sure you could understand the majority of what's going on and what's what, even if you don't know how to read Japanese perfectly. But so that's the manual. Oh, and I also just remembered, I just saw this, I didn't look at it here. The side of the box has the advertisement for Pikachu the movie, released in 1998, and if I remember correctly, that was a little additional opening on one of the first two Pokemon movies that came out, so that's also very cool. Alright, what do we have next? Ooh. An advertisement pamphlet for the Game Boy Color. Because back when the games originally came out, they still had the old school Game Boys. They were all in black and white, but now you get to enjoy Pocket Monsters Yellow version on the Game Boy Color. And I believe that says that it originally cost 6,800 yen when it came out. So you could look up your own math and see what how much the system cost over here in America when it was first released versus what the Japanese yen to dollar ratio was back then. And of course, it came with a poster map for the Kanto region, just like my copy of Red did. This is exactly like the poster for the Kanto region that they had in the strategy guide for Pokemon Red and Blue when it came out in America. But if I remember correctly, that was just a fold-out page that you couldn't really take out of the book, at least. But this one's an actual full foldable poster. And then accessories, link cable stuff. Attaching it to the Nintendo 64, maybe. And more technical info. I really wish I knew how to speak Japanese right now, or read and speak Japanese, so I knew exactly what all of this stuff was saying, but it's all still very cool. Well, that's all the content that came with Pocket Monster Pikachu edition. I will pause the video right here, and I think for the last bit of fun, I will pop it into my Retron 5, and we shall see how good it looks on the big screen. Final part of the video. Let us put Pocket Monsters Pikachu edition into the Retron 5. insert it into the Game Boy slot. Pocket Monsters Yellow. And of course we will be enjoying this with the Nintendo controller. Here we go. Whew, that's so awesome. I love how they have the border around the screen. I have the graphics filter set to where the graphics are a little bit more smoothed out and less pixelated looking, so... Pika. This would be start game and options. Hello, and welcome to the world of Pocket Monsters. My name is Oak, but people affectionately refer to me as the Pocket Monster Professor. This world is inhabited by wondrous creatures called Pocket Monsters. For some, Pocket Monsters are pets. Others like to use them for fights. Myself, I study Pocket Monsters as a profession. So, and selecting the names, I would have to figure out exactly which one of those is supposed to be Ash, but I'm assuming if it's the same as the American release, it's probably that, but anyway, so there you have it. There is, Pocket Monsters, Pikachu edition, Japanese. I hope you enjoyed this, this video. Hopefully it all came out okay. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all soon.